I'm Randy Robison. This is Life Today TV, digital edition. Man, all right. Sergeant Stephen Jackel is with me. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Okay. I just doubted myself. It's been a long day.
Don't do that.
All right. Good to have you here. I have no excuse. Okay, so on a wide shot here, you'll notice we got prosthetics down here. Nice shoes, by the way.
Thank you.
I bet they last a lot longer than the average shoe.
Did you?
Tell us what happened, Sergeant.
Being a combat engineer in the Army, my job was to make sure that survivability and maneuverability took place for oncoming forces. So in that aspect, we were doing route clearance, rolled over a culvert, saw a wire going out of my peripheral vision, and told the driver to back up. We backed up, and I immediately confirmed it was a wire, and I couldn't tell the driver to drive fast enough. So we had the IED initiated on us. I was looking at the ground when we went airborne. I lost consciousness. Woke up in the vehicle laying sideways. I'd come up out of a 5-point harness. My gunner and dismount were pinned, and there was 50 cal rounds cooking off. The crazy thing though is like I don't know what brought me out of being unconscious. The 50 cal rounds that were cooking off, or the blood that I was choking on, because I had bit through my lip. You know, I have a beard now, but you know, of course, being in regs, you know, completely shaven, there you could see a scar going across my lip where I'd bit through my teeth, and that's what had created the blood in the back of my throat, to which I was choking on. You know, assessing the situation as quick as possible. You know, I lifted my lip up over my teeth, spit the blood out, looked around at all my body parts, making sure they were all still there. And at that time, I had noticed that, you know, the gunner was pinned and the dismount was pinned, and the radio mount that I would be able to relay information with had been destroyed. So I used my dismount radio to contact the guys in the rear to let them know, you know, hey, because that's where our recovery element was in the rear of the formation. Mm-hmm. And I'd let them know that we needed, two of the guys were pinned and we needed 3 litters, and that I had 2 broken feet. And about that time that I had said that a fire broke out inside the vehicle, excuse me, and, you know, immediately I was okay with dying. Not that I hadn't before, because we'd been in a bunch of firefights and, you know, dealt with some pretty hairy situations where that feeling had occurred often. But being in this particular situation, closed in a box with a fire coming up inside the vehicle, was definitely a different scenario, yeah, to say the least. So in my mind, I kind of accepted defeat in the manner to where I didn't know how we were going to get out. You know, burning to death was definitely an option.
But you didn't settle for that. You fought.
Yeah. I mean, I immediately just, you know, I was told God I was okay with dying. But if I was not to do everything I could to make sure that the guys inside the vehicle survived. Yeah.
Are they unconscious at this point?
Well, the two up very front, and the driver and TCC, that's the tactical commander portion of the vehicle, the passenger. Yeah. He's the one that tells the vehicle where to go and what to do. Those 2 had been knocked out, but they said briefly. But regardless, they couldn't get back to us because the gunner, his legs were butterflied up against the driver and TC seat, so the gunner's hatch had slammed down on him, because it stays open as you stand outside the gunner's hatch, so you can operate the weapon system. Yeah. So with his legs being butterflied up against the seats, there was no getting through to him, to us.
Okay, so you got 2 guys in the back,
right?
Pinned in.
Yep.
It starts burning. You're sideways. What do you do?
So you know, so at that point, you know, like I was saying, it was a situation where I was talking to God about being okay with dying, and then, you know, I felt a wave of heat come over me, and, you know, instinctively I just grabbed my leg and started slamming it on the fire. Thankfully put the fire out, moved to the rear of the vehicle, and my platoon sergeant and them had finally made it. They'd cleared their way to us because they have to clear their way to us to make sure that they don't get blown up in the process trying to rescue somebody.
Sure. That's a common tactic.
Absolutely. And looking up and seeing him, I didn't know how long I'd been knocked out, to be honest with you. It had to been a good 45 minutes or so.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. When you slap a cushion and you see dust rise out of the cushion, it takes a minute as you look through the sun rays for the dust to dissipate.
Sure.
And there we got 3-4 feet of, we call it moon dust. It's just really refined dust from the desert.
Sand, yeah.
And when an explosion goes off, that dust goes everywhere.
And that probably takes a while to settle then, huh?
Right, and for when I gained consciousness, there wasn't any dust in the vehicle. It all settled.
Yeah.
So getting to the rear of the vehicle and seeing him, he pointed down at the hydraulic door. Of course, it's an 800-pound door. There was no way I was getting it open without the assistance of the hydraulics, and they were busted.
Yeah.
So the next only option at that point was to lift myself up on the broken and destroyed feet that I had, and now destroyed leg because of the fire, to lift myself up and kind of lean over enough to just let go and grab the latches and open them up. And then the door had sprung open, the hatch had, and then they came in and pulled us out.
Okay.
I knew things were kind of odd. I mean, outside of getting blown up, of course, and then putting the fire out. But when we had gotten to the top of the vehicle for them to transport us down to the ground to get put on litters, I noticed I saw guys' Kevlars, their helmets. And that's not really normal because those vehicles at the tallest height of the roof of the vehicle, you're looking at about 10, 12 feet almost. So the tires are at least about 5.5 foot tall.
Okay. So what does that mean to you?
Well, for me to see the top of their heads meant there wasn't a bottom of a vehicle. And surely there wasn't. The rear end had been blown off and the front end had been blown off.
The one you were in?
Yeah, so we'd been literally blown into 3 pieces.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
So
we survived though. I mean,
all your guys?
all of us, every single one of us, yes.
Thank God. So, but you get rushed to medical unit, hospital out there?
Yeah, we'd been flown to Kandahar
He went to Kandahar.
Air Force Base, and then they flew us to Bagram to stabilize us, and then I was flown to Germany. Well, I mean, we were all flown to Germany, but they had amputated my leg. Probably like I don't remember the exact time frame. I know it took 2 days from the time that I got blown up, in the midst of getting my leg amputated, for them prepping me to fly me back to, or not back to, but fly me to Brooke Army Medical Center in San Antonio.
Okay, so you're transported.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard enough to keep track of time when you're going from one side of the world.
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
days. I fly to China, and I don't know what day it is, right?
Yeah.
You're probably in and out of consciousness because they're probably drugging, giving you some pain medication. They amputate one leg. You wake up in San Antonio with one leg.
Well, no, I'd gone through recovery in Germany.
In Germany,
Yeah,
okay.
they'd
So
cut
you're
the
in
leg
Germany.
off in Germany,
Okay.
and then I'd gained, I'd come to in the recovery room, which, man, to this day, I still feel bad. Like, there was a guy who was waiting in the recovery room, and the exact conversation I had with the doctor before I even went into surgery was, I was like, hey, look, my foot's purple, half my leg's purple. What are the chances of me even keeping anything that I'm seeing?
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, you're not going to lose anything. And I come out of surgery missing half my leg.
Oh, jeez.
Of course, the first dude that I'm taking everything out on is the guy that's standing right next to me. And they had to come in and pull, because I had pulled him to me. And I was very, in an unnice way, explained to him that I didn't appreciate my leg being gone. So, bless his heart.
How long till you lost the other one?
It'd be about 1.5 years later. I'd actually started picking up diving. I wanted to learn how to scuba dive. It's something that I hadn't done prior to being injured. It's something that they had offered. So I was like, adaptive diving, adaptive scuba diving. I think I'll try it.
Yeah.
So I ended up finding a love being in the water, not dealing with the pain, not
Sure.
anything. You have buoyancy and stuff. So I picked up diving pretty quick, and then actually talked to the dive instructor, and I actually started going to school to teach disabled individuals how to scuba dive.
Cool.
Whether you'd be missing arms or being paralyzed, because people who are paralyzed can still go diving. They just have to have a dive buddy.
Okay.
Just someone to hold their hand while they're in the water
I didn't
floating
know
around.
that.
Yeah. So that became something very interesting to me, because in being taken out of a fight, with me and the guys I was with, it was different. My prior deployment, actually losing guys and having to come back home. Now it's me leaving them, coming back home, and they're still there.
Sure.
So it was really tough to kind of be a guy that's in the starting lineup and then being benched.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was really a puller at the heartstrings not being able to still be there. But I found solace in other things and continuing to serve, like the scuba diving and learn how to teach other people how to scuba dive, and it just developed from there. I went on a document. I did a documentary with cage-free shark diving in the Bahamas with Richard Branson. Yeah, Richard Branson came out, got on the boat with us for about a day or two.
No.
And we were down the ocean floor in the Bahamas at Tiger Beach, man. Having at one time we had over 160 sharks in the water, I believe, and we had PVC pipes that were about 2.5 foot long. That was it.
No, that's not right.
Yeah.
Is that how you lost your other leg?
Yeah, actually, no. That's not how I lost my leg. But coming back from that trip, not even a month later, because of all the mobility, I was going through platelet-rich plasma treatment, so they were injecting my leg, or they were injecting my foot to try to see if they could more repair the area that had been damaged, and I had 2 treatments. I wasn't going for a third, and I ended up going from a walker to my wheelchair. Well, I'd say walker, a cane. I call them walkers because they assist you, but and then going to a wheelchair, I really had to assess my situation, continue taking pain meds and drugging myself up just to be able to walk, and then feel like a zombie nonetheless too at that same token, or completely get rid of the pain by just cutting my leg off.
Oh, what a choice.
So, I chose to take my left foot.
Goodness. Now you got the prosthetics. Hey, you walk around here like everybody else does.
Yeah.
So you adapted pretty well?
Yep.
Yeah, good for you. I do know this, and I want to ask you about this, because you're on the program talking with another gentleman who built you a house.
Yes.
Yes? Modified to help you get around, right? Because we don't think about that. Because us, those of us who don't have to deal with such difficulty tend to overlook a lot. So he's building you a house. When you came back, you're married before. How long have you been married?
To Adriana, 6 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And wait, hang on. How many of those years were you overseas?
I enlisted in 2008. I went and deployed 2009 to 2010, and then 2011, 2012.
And you have how many kids?
6 now.
Okay.
And while in the service, 5.
How did you manage having that many kids in that short amount of time while you're overseas serving our country?
Well, so I had been previously married.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So after I came back from my first deployment, I had gotten divorced, and then my 3 kids were with me.
Okay.
I actually met Adriana over the phone with a friend. So it was my first deployment. And he came back from R&R, which is like our vacation from combat.
Yeah, right.
If there is one.
Yeah, really.
And he was like, "Hey, man, I met this chick, and she has a friend, and her friend's looking for a guy that kind of fits your description. I'm just gonna give you her number, and you give her a call." And I called her. We talked, and kind of hit it off, and. In her mind, she says she never expected to hear from me again. Mm-hmm. And in mine, it was like, this woman sounded really sweet.
Yeah, y'all were together from that point on, huh?
Right. So, coming back home after, we lost 49 guys that deployment. It was guys I had served alongside with, so it was pretty tough. after coming back, it's like, I was still dealing with the survivor's guilt and all the other stuff, and me and my wife kind of ran into a little snag in the beginning, but we were joined back together because we were destined to be together, and changed deployment or changed duty
kids
stations.
coming into the relationship?
Yes, two.
So
two.
so
Yeah,
you
our
all got
oldest two.
one between the two of you?
Yeah,
Okay.
our oldest two, and then our youngest three are mine. Her oldest two are hers.
So you got a blended family, 6 kids.
Yes. Yeah.
All that's now from what I understand.
Jackel bunch.
You were facing homelessness.
Yeah.
How in the world? I mean,
Well, when you get discharged, you're not the military's responsibility anymore.
you're done.
They don't have to make sure you have a house to live in. They don't. The VA picks you up at that point.
Yeah, we know how that goes.
And we know how that goes,
Uh-huh.
exactly. So with me and Adriana and the kids not really having a place to, literally, we didn't really have a place to go after getting discharged. It was like.
And how hard is it to find great employment for someone who's lost
I'm not
their
a
legs?
9 to 5 job. It's hard for me to stand up. It's hard for me to sit down. I have a broken back. The traumatic brain injury, sometimes disallows me to be able to be focused, to stay on task.
And
the short-term memory doesn't help, and
so it's not just legs. You got
There's a
a lot of
things,
you got a lot of challenges, and our government. Okay, I'll get off my soapbox, but the fact that you're facing homelessness after what you've been through to stand up for us is infuriating to
Oh
me.
yeah, that's why as a veteran, I took an oath to make sure that I look out for veterans as much as I can, because it almost seems in a way like we're the only ones who are doing it, and those who closely support us.
Yeah.
But not as a nation, not as a government entity that's willing to send guys to war to protect our interest. Their job's now been done, so the interest now is.
Yeah, don't get me started.
Yeah.
Don't get me started. We'll get free college for a bunch of spoiled rich kids, but not okay. Anyway, but someone stepped in to help you. Give me the short version of that, because I want people to watch the broadcast program where they get.
The short version is a Dan Walworth, pretty much. That's the short version.
He came in and built you a home.
Yeah, the guy's amazing. The team that he has really cares about veterans.
Obviously.
And it's not to the point, the unfortunate thing, and God, I pray for him all the time, it's so difficult having his job, because there's so many of us broke guys out there coming back from the military. It's hard to pick out of all the guys and gals, who do you give a home to? I wouldn't even want that.
One at a time, though. My answer is all of them.
Well, yeah, so
Just
it's
one
his.
at a time.
Yeah, and being blessed enough to actually, I had a really good federal recovery coordinator, and a caseworker, upon getting injured, that looked out for the different things, if I wanted to get a job, federal resume, civilian resume, and anything that we would really need. But what it came down to was with me having a big family, looking for a place to live was really, it was really difficult, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And for him and his organization to step in and say, this is a deserving veteran. I don't think that I'm deserving.
You
I understand that.
You are.
But it's it's
But you didn't ask for it.
Right. I'm used to working for everything that I have. I'm not.
Believe me,
I'm
you
not
worked
used
for
to
it.
work to be given stuff. So it's
earned
different. And
You earned it, my friend.
I appreciate that.
You earned it. Trust me, you earned it. So you're out motivational speaking. You're talking to other vets. You're helping. You still doing the diving stuff or any of that?
Yeah, I still do the diving. We went out and did a little segment for some of the things that I'm working on. I get up on stage and sing at concerts. I rappel out of helicopters. I rappel down the sides of buildings. I jump out of planes.
You're still crazy.
Do workout competitions. I am, pulling 2.5-ton vehicles uphill like that. Just, it's me who I was before. It's just I'm adaptive. I'm adapted now. You know, I've got prosthetic legs. So
What's your message?
I mean, give more than you can ever take.
Yeah, goodness. That's a challenge because you have given more.
No, I
than you
hadn't
could
given
ever
my life.
take, and yeah, fair enough, and a lot of your friends have.
Yeah.
But yet your attitude is still to give more, and that's a challenge, man. That's a wake up call to a lot of people. A lot of people. I want you to meet Dan Walworth. Hear a little more from Sergeant Jackel. You can do that right now at lifetoday.org, the program there. Do you have a website if people want to get a hold of you? We want you to do something crazy for their group for fun or for inspiration or whatever, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. OperationRockTheTroops.org.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And that does, well, you just go to the website. You're going to see everything that does. And man, give this guy a call. And if you know a veteran out there, reach out. They're not going to ask you for anything. So it's up to you to go out and figure out what their need is and fill that need. So that's my challenge for you today. Sergeant, thank you. I salute you, appreciate you. And I'm glad that Life Today was able to do something, put a little spotlight on you for just a minute. But I can't say enough. Thank you, sir. Hey, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hit the subscribe button because we want to let you know about all the great videos from Life Today.